primate is a title or rank bestowed on some archbishops in certain Christian churches. Depending on the particular tradition, it can denote either jurisdictional authority or ceremonial precedence. Roman Catholic Church. In the Western Church, a primate is an archbishop, or really a suffragan or exempt bishop, of a specific episcopal see who has precedence over the bishops of one or more ecclesiastical provinces of a particular historical, political, or cultural area. Historically, primates were granted privileges including the authority to call and preside at national synods, jurisdiction to hear appeals from metropolitan tribunals, the right to crown the sovereign of the nation, and presiding at the investiture of archbishops in the sees. The office is generally found only in older Catholic countries, and is now purely honorific, enjoying no effective powers under canon law, except for the Archbishop of Esztergom in Hungary. Thus, e.g., the Primate of Poland holds no jurisdictional authority over other Polish bishops or the dioceses, but is durante munere a member of the Standing Committee of the Episcopal Conference and has honorary precedence among Polish bishops. The Holy See has also granted Polish primates the privilege of wearing cardinals' crimson attire, except for the skullcap and biretta, even if they have not been made cardinals. Where the title of primate exists, it may be vested in one of the oldest archdioceses in a country, often based in a city other than the present capital, but which was the capital when the country was first Christianized. The city may no longer have the prominence it had when the title was granted. The political area over which primacy was originally granted may no longer exist. For example, the Archbishop of Toledo was designated Primate of the Visigothic Kingdom, and the Archbishop of Lyon is the Primate of the Gauls. Some of the leadership functions once exercised by primates, specifically presiding at meetings of the bishops of a nation or region, are now exercised by the President of the Conference of Bishops. The President of the Conference, or, when he is lawfully impeded, the Vice President, presides not only over the general meetings of the conference but also over the permanent committee. The President is generally elected by the conference, but by exception the President of the Italian Episcopal Conference is appointed by the Pope, and the Irish Catholic Bishops' Conference has the Primate of All Ireland as President and the Primate of Ireland as Vice President. Other former functions of primates, such as hearing appeals from metropolitan tribunals, were reserved to the Holy See by the early 20th century. Soon after, by the norm of the Code of Canon Law of 1917, confirmed in the 1983 Code, the Tribunal of Second Instance for appeals from a metropolitan tribunal is the tribunal which the metropolitan has designated in a stable manner, with the approval of the Apostolic See. The closest equivalent position in the Eastern churches in 1911 was an exarch. The Holy See has continued in modern times to grant the title of primate. With the Decree Sollicitae Romanis Pontificibus of 24 January 1956, it granted the title of Primate of Canada to the Archbishop of Quebec. As stated above, this is merely an honorary title involving no additional power. A right of precedence over other bishops and similar privileges can be granted even to a bishop who is not a primate. Thus, in 1858, the Holy See granted the Archbishop of Baltimore precedence in meetings of the United States bishops. The Archbishop of Westminster has not been granted the title of Primate of England and Wales, which is sometimes applied to him, but his position has been described as that of Chief Metropolitan and as similar to that of the Archbishop of Canterbury. The title of primate is sometimes applied loosely to the Archbishop of a country's capital, as in the case of the Archbishops of Seoul in South Korea and Edinburgh in Scotland. functions can sometimes be exercised in practice, as by a de facto government, without having been granted by law. But since primate is today a title, not a function, there is no such thing as a de facto primate. The pre-Reformation Archbishop of Nidaros was sometimes referred to as Primate of Norway, even though it's unlikely that this title ever was officially granted to him by the Holy See. Catholic primatial sees. The heads of certain sees have at times been referred to, at least by themselves, as primates. Catholic archbishops who figured as primates until the Protestant Reformation: England, Canterbury, All England, York, England, Lund, Scandinavia. Catholic archbishops who figured as primates at the First Vatican Council source regular clergy equivalent. In the modern confederation of the Benedictine order, all the black monks of St. Benedict were united under the presidency of an abbot primate, but the unification, fraternal in its nature, brought no modification to the abbatial dignity, and the various congregations preserved their autonomy intact. The loose structure of the Benedictine Confederation is claimed to have made Pope Leo XIII exclaim that the Benedictines were ordo sine ordine. The powers of the abbot primate are specified, and his position defined, in a decree of the Sacred Congregation of Bishops and Regulars dated 16 September 1893. The primacy is attached to the global Benedictine Confederation, whose primate resides at Sant'Anselmo in Rome. He takes precedence of all other abbots, is empowered to pronounce on all doubtful matters of discipline, to settle difficulties arising between monasteries, to hold a canonical visitation, if necessary, in any congregation of the order, and to exercise a general supervision for the regular observance of monastic discipline. The primatial powers are only vested in the abbot primate to act by virtue of the proper law of its autonomous Benedictine congregation, which at the present is minimal to none. However, certain branches of the Benedictine order seem to have lost their original autonomy to some extent. In a similar way, the Confederation of Canons Regular of St. Augustine elects an abbot primate as figurehead of the Confederation, and indeed the whole canonical order. The abbots and superiors general of the 9 congregations of confederated congregations of Canons Regular elect a new abbot primate for a term of office lasting 6 years. The current Abbot General is Rt. Rev. Fr. Maurice Batts, Abbot of St. Pierre, and Abbot General of the Canons Regular of St. Victor. Anglicanism. Anglican usage styles the bishop who heads an independent church as its primate, though commonly they hold some other title. The primate's authority within the churches varies considerably. Some churches give the primate some executive authority, while in others they may do no more than preside over church councils and represent the church ceremonially. Anglican Communion. In the context of the Anglican Communion Primates meeting, the chief bishop of each of the 38 churches that compose the Anglican Communion acts as its primate, though this title may not be used within their own provinces. Thus the United Churches of Bangladesh, of North India, of Pakistan and of South India, which are united with other originally non-Anglican churches, are represented at the meetings by the moderators. In both the Church of England and the Church of Ireland, 2 bishops have the title of primate. The Archbishops of Canterbury and York in England and of Armagh and Dublin in Ireland. Only the bishop of the senior primatial see of each of these 2 churches participates in the meetings. The Archbishop of Canterbury, who is considered primus inter pares of all the participants, convokes the meetings and issues the invitations. Primates and archbishops are styled the Most Reverend. All other bishops are styled the Right Reverend. Traditional Anglican Communion. The head of the Traditional Anglican Communion's College of Bishops takes the title of primate.